With everything that's been going on lately, it took so long to go live there that my heart was like going, pop, 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 pop. Am I done? A year and 2 months of fucking being on YouTube. Is it just gone like a fart in a noisemaker? Everything just vanished? Who knows? It could happen. Could happen to anyone. Before we go off into that kind of thing, though, and everyone knows everyone here, we got Lord Quinn, our #1 moderator out. In fact, our only real moderator out in the chat, and our ruler and all-knowing, all-seeing, all-authoritarian Lord of Discord, Lord Quinn. Thank you for being here. Common Senseguy, and our very, very special guest back to give us an update from a white man on the dark continent of Africa today. So I'm just going to kick it right off before I really fucking mangle it more than I just did. Common Sense, why don't I just kick it to you to do our opener, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, sure, mate. That's not a problem. I mean, I thought that you did quite a good introduction there. I thought we did quite well. But no, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to have a quick chat with Conscious Caracal, make sure he's okay, obviously, as well. Make sure that everything seems to be going okay in South Africa, or at least as best as it fucking can do. Find out a couple of bits and pieces that we don't really know what's going on with the political parties out there as well at the minute. I've seen some fucking amazing stories out there, so I'd like to hear Conscious Caracal's point of view on them. And then after we've done that, probably around about, I don't know, about 9:30, maybe 20 to 10, we're going to carry on to Jensen Quinn, and we're going to have a Quinspericy and talk a little bits about that. So, Conscious Caracal, if you'd like to kick us off, please do, my friend.
Oh, well, I'm glad to be on again. I'm always glad to be your South African correspondent, so you can know when I stop tweeting, you better make some noise. I'm basically your canary in the coal mine. That's the thing I always tell people. Don't always 100% rely just on corporate media reporting from South Africa. You need to talk to the regular people, to the regular oaks, the people on the ground. They'll be able to give you a much clearer idea of what's going on, and in terms of citizens' perspectives. That's how I got a grip on the American elections. I stopped reading corporate media news, and I just started talking to regular people. And I got a much better idea of what was going on, and it started making a lot more sense. Always when you encounter people that say, "Oh no, I can't understand what happened. It's the American election is so bizarre." I'm like, no, it's just because you didn't talk to regular people. You were just in this corporate news bubble, where you were just listening to the sensationalization of many stories, and you weren't paying attention to regular people, to the layman's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of point that I wanted to bring up. I mean, I've seen some with, I think it's the ANZ or the ANS. I think it's the ANZ.
ANC.
Where that.
One
Thank
letter.
you very much. Yeah, well, it was actually probably around about 20-something, but yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, the ANC, I mean, they've coming around at this moment in time singing some weird and wonderful songs from somebody that you obviously take correspondence to as well. I can't remember the name, but I followed him on Twitter, who's doing a lot of stuff at this moment in time.
What,
about
you mean, like
people
shoot the boar with the machine gun, hunt them down, kill the boar?
No.
Oh.
The actual party itself is actually, while they're in their party dress, are actually dancing and singing while they're on stage, singing "Kill the Boar." Actually, singing it, not just saying but that's the actual party, or at least a party. I'm not sure what one. So.
I think you're talking about the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters, who are a radical Marxist-Leninist party. Yeah. So you're probably going to get that type of rhetoric from them. Yeah, they say what a lot of people in South Africa are too scared to say. Is they're kind of the unfiltered South African party to an extent. I think they definitely appeal to a large portion of South Africans, but they're not a majority party. I think they're the third largest party.
I'd like to mention really very quickly also that since in honor of you being here, I had a gram of this in my little stash box. This is Durban poison. So as soon as he told me about 15 minutes ago you'd be on, so I was like, I know. So I ran back. I got this. This strain is actually a landrace strain that comes from Durban, I don't think that's too far from where you're at. So carry on, gentlemen. I've already enjoyed this very pungent.
Durban's actually quite far from where I'm at. It's on the east coast. It's called Little India. It's the largest Indian population outside of India. Best curry in the world. Some of the best beaches. Yeah, the water there, the beach water is like bath water, so warm. But there's also a lot of sharks because of the warm water.
Some of the best weed also. It's unbelievable. It I mean, I'm not going to go too much into this and derail. I just wanted to let you know that I'm smoking Durban poison. When you look at a map of Africa, everything looks close until you get out your ruler and start measuring actual distance and realize that we're not talking about America anymore. That's you can fit like 3 or 4 American continents into that continent. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't want to derail it too much, and I just did. So back to the AFL-CIO or whatever we were talking about there, the acronym.
I posted a story in the chat there. Okay, if you want to put it on, present it for the audience. So I'll jump in while you're at doing that. So the thing that happened was the ANC has cut all the diplomatic ties with Israel in a protest of their treatment of the Palestinian people. So this has been breaking news in the past, I think, week, that we are no longer associating ourselves in any sense with Israel. We're in complete solidarity with the Palestinians, it seems. But I do have my own take on it, and that's the fact that even though the ANC has been predominantly anti-Israel since its inception, this move to cut all ties eerily coincides with the Western Cape needing to invest in desalination plants, to deal with the Cape Town water crisis. And coincidentally, Israel can provide those to us very cheaply, and they have offered it. So quite the little coincidence that just as we are having talks about installing these desalination plants, we cut all ties of Israel. So it seems like the international government is trying to hamper the Western Cape's recovery, because the Western Cape is the only province in South Africa that's run by the opposition party. So pretty interesting development that.
The Western Cape. So that's
where Cape Town is.
That's okay. And you are in
the Western Cape. It's we don't have states, we have provinces.
All right. Well, again, I just want to mention, when we look at South Africa, you're pretty knowledgeable. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I look at the South of Africa, and of course I see the tip of a continent, and so I'm imagining a space the size of the state of Michigan. But when we think of South Africa, do you know about how many square kilometers that may be?
Sure. South Africa, I'm going to have to Google that. I'll get
no, that's okay. That's okay. We'll have Lord Quinn, will you Google the square miles of square kilometers of South Africa and the square kilometers?
I got it here. So the area of the Republic of South Africa is approximately 1.2 million square kilometers, or 470,000 square miles. Making it slightly less. That makes it slightly less than twice the size of the state of Texas, or slightly bigger than Holland, Belgium, Italy, France, and Germany combined.
Yeah, that's big.
And say so. And in square miles, that's how many again?
In square miles, it's 470,000.
So that's 1/8 the size of the entire United States of America. And let's not forget, when we talk about the United States, they do include Alaska in that, which is a huge landmass. But anyway, the United States is 3.79 million miles, almost 4 million square miles. All right, so again, there's what I'm good for. I love all this information, because we need to understand that we're talking about, in land mass, a very, very, very large area. We're talking about a huge swath of land that, as you've already pointed out by the flag here in the different colors, that you have Afrikaans, you have coloreds, you have the I'm trying to remember just from talking to you last time, but I believe you said there's something to the effect of 5 nationalities represented there. We're talking about a huge landmass with a huge demographic.
Oh, I'm not even sure about the representation angle. I can't recall the flag representing all the ethnicities in South Africa. Maybe you know more than me.
Oh, I thought you were the one that told me about the green and I thought you were the one that told me about the flag. It must have been Adam and his apple. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but we should have him on a future stream as well. Very interesting oak, and I think me and him bounce off each other very well.
Yes. So anyway, back to this. Back to this Israel, because I derailed, but I want to, and we got very short time to stay on this topic. So I'm going to try my best to shut up. Dong me if I pipe up again. Common sense, please. Let's get to this Israeli South Africa connection, and if it's good or bad, indifferent, whatever that may be. So desalination plants, I heard about that.
Yeah, and Israel are pretty much specialists in water desalination, and they can provide us with cheap desalination plants with their expertise. But it seems to me that this, and it's just my personal theory, I can't substantiate it with any concrete evidence, but it seems to me, just how I'm reading this, is that the national government are severing ties with Israel at the exact same time that we need their services with desalination plants. So it appears to me like it is a sabotage attempt to slow down the recovery from the drought in the Western Cape, to hurt the re-election chances of the opposition party there.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like an opportunist point of view on that one, doesn't it? Yeah, you've got problems with water. We can help you with this. Nah, we're all right. We don't want any help. We're fine.
Yeah.
Because the other party's in charge. It's not a problem. We can use this later.
Oh man!
You should send some of that snow our way.
That's what's going on. Is that people are using this for political gains?
Yes. Well, that's how it appears.
Yeah.
Well, who
just
benefits?
From my perspective.
Who benefits from an Israeli South Africa union? I don't even get it, how that would
the Western Cape would benefit, because then we could get cheap water desalination plants from Israel. They could come build it here, and they can bring their expertise.
Okay, so a better question. So a much better question, sir, would tell me why would that be a bad thing?
Because the opposition party, the Democratic Alliance, are in charge of the Western Cape.
Yeah.
The only province ruled by the opposition party, and the Western Cape is currently hit hardest by the drought. Cape Town is in the Western Cape. So the National Party, the ANC, it seems to me, from my perspective, that they are trying to hurt the Western Cape's chances of recovering from the drought, to hamper the opposition party's chances of getting re-election there. Now, I need to be clear that I do think the water crisis in Cape Town is in majority partly due to the opposition party in Cape Town also not thinking far enough ahead. I think there's definitely government malmanagement going on there. So they're not blameless at all. I think they deserve a heaping ton of criticism. But at the same time, it seems to me that the ANC is trying to exacerbate the situation by severing the ties of Israel, so that it takes longer for the Western Cape to recover. Because we have elections again in 2019, so this might hurt the Democratic Alliance's chances in that election if the Cape Town water crisis persists.
Well, to go further on your point of view, obviously, as you said before, you had the ANC that's obviously had 7 this drought that's supposed to have been happening and is happening, as you said. Now, if you're to take this theory a little bit forward, and this is obviously theory, it's all conjecture, we don't actually have any proof to this, but if you do take this theory forward, you've had that party that's been in charge for over the 7 years it's been there. You've had this other party that's been in charge of the Cape Town for, is it 4 years that they've been in charge, or is it the full 7?
I can't. I'm gonna have to dig in my memory.
I think it's the 4 because they didn't control it at the beginning.
Yeah. I can't remember when they took charge of Cape Town. I'll have to get back to you on that. Maybe Quinn can check out the Google Scape for that fact. But I don't want to give false information. Just going on my faulty memory.
Yeah, no, I don't want to give out faulty information either, but I'm around about 80% that they weren't at the beginning of the 7 years, but they come through on the last election.
Oh no, it's not 7 years. It's we've known about this drought for 17 years.
17, fucking hell.
I tweeted out a picture the other day of a news article that someone found from 17 years ago, where they say the Western Cape will be hit by a drought and in 17 years, and if we don't prepare now, we will struggle to recover from it. And that's why I'm saying this is the Cape Town water crisis is the best example why privatization is the future. Why you can't trust government to run these essential things like water provision. It's it's a fuck up every time.
especially when you can not prove, but you can find correlation to the points of the reasons why they might do something. For instance, as you said, you have the ANC that have control of most of the area, but Western Cape isn't. So what they're doing is, well, Western Cape's got this really big, massive problem at this moment in time, and this other political party is in charge of it. So what we're going to do nationally is go, fuck you, you can't have what you want, and it's your fault because you're in charge.
Yes.
And that's basically the idea of the political landscape at that moment in time. The ANC are basically saying, you can't have this water because if you have the water, you saved them, which will then produce more people to vote for you because you were able to save that part of the Western Cape and it would spread. It's just a political fucking exercise. That's literally it.
But I'm glad it can. This theory kind of slots into the theme of the stream, which is conspiracy theories. So
that's exactly why I changed the picture already. That's why I changed the picture into what it will be for them, because it is. It sounds to me. I asked a question a minute ago, and I've been trying to be patient and listen, and I'm listening. And so the answer to my question is, the problem is the problem with Israel being involved with this is that it's positively affecting a certain group of people by giving them water when they need it, and that makes another group of people not like that. That's what it sounds like.
I always tell people, if you want to understand politics, as soon as you realize it's a game of interests, then suddenly it's like it's an epiphany moment. Suddenly politics just starts making sense. It's like reading a book, and you just understand it completely once you realize that it's just a game of interests. It's not. I think it was in the 1500s. Machiavelli wrote The Prince, which is a satirical guide to how to gain power and retain it. But at that time, it was a very. It's basically a satirical guide for politicians to ruthlessly pursue power and how to gain it and then retain it. But at the time, in the 1500s, that was a revolutionary idea, because at the time, people still thought politicians were chosen by God to be altruistic shepherds to society. That they can't be corrupt, they can't have self-interests.
And boys, I know we're on something, but this is hard for me to pass this up. And Binary Surfer's always got knowledge about some shit. I think he's some kind of MI6 kind of spook or something. I don't know. But
don't give his secrets away.
No, there's no secret. I don't know what he is. I'm deducting something. I don't want to say too much. You have me fucking killed in my sleep. All I'm saying is not to jump topics, but your fellow host, does your fellow host appreciate, and this is what I want, because he's asking this from a South African, a white South African that lives in Cape Town, close to Cape Town, says, so Conscious Caracal, do you, or in fact, no, he's saying, do we have? Would you tell us then, sir, just how violent parts of South Africa are? For example, the naked, greased, armed robbers with machetes, the Joburg?
Well, you get some. South Africa, across cultures, has a very bad violence problem. So what you get is you get home invasions, but not regular home invasions. You get people getting assaulted, and killed eventually. Where you don't just get people that come in and take your TV and run away. They come in and they torture you with a drill, or they burn you with a hot iron, or they rape.
You've mentioned that before on the stream, and I'm not trying to be gratuitous at all. I put it up here. Have you heard anything about the Joburg, J-O-B-R-G?
Yeah, Joburg. It's slang for Johannesburg.
So what is that? That's nothing. That's just, there's some gangs in Johannesburg that are getting naked, greasing themselves up, chopping people up with machetes.
Large crime problem. So I think that's why you use it as an example.
The machete thing, the naked, greased up naked machete choppers is a real fucking thing. I'm going to pin you right down. Are there people greasing themselves up, butt naked, and chopping folk up with machetes, or is that sensational?
I haven't heard that specific story, no, but I'm not going to say it's not true.
All right. I agree. I mean, I agree that you can't. Okay, thank you very much. I just want to know if you could confirm it. If you confirm that right now. So carry on, gentlemen.
The thing about South African media is there's every day on the front page there's some shocking story about a crime that's been committed. So a lot of these stories get lost in the white noise. So it's not surprising that I haven't heard this specific story. It's just it gets lost in the chaos of South African crime, the phenomenon of violent crime in South Africa.
Yeah, which is absolutely amazing in itself. The idea that the idea that greased up people that are going around arm robbing people or chopping people with machetes is just a side note in the idea of the absolute madness and looniness that is going on in Johannesburg at this moment in time in criminalization. The fact that that has been the norm for such a long time that it's just, yeah, it's just another story. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We understand it happens. We need to do something about it. We're not sure what, but something. It's just amazing to me that that's the level of adaptiveness, should we say, that Johannesburg people have now come to. Just, yeah, we understand it happens, but what can you do, eh?
It's not just Johannesburg people. It's people across South Africa. I mean, Durban is also a very high crime city. Cape Town as well, if you relatively to the rest of the world. I mean, Cape Town is one of the most dangerous cities in the world in terms of murder rate. South Africa has a murder rate of 50 people a day.
Yes. 50 people a day?
Yeah.
Well, but once again, I want to keep in mind that we're talking about, okay, all right, but we're talking about something it's 500 million square miles. Okay, I want to keep that in mind. And that covers Johannesburg, Cape Town, everything in between, Sun City, even though now I know that's just a...
We have a population of 55 million people, to give you some perspective.
Right. Yeah, so that's just 1 in a million. You got a 1 in a million chance of being murdered.
That's a murder rate that boils down to about, I think, around 35 per 100,000 people.
Well, it sounded like 1 in a million a day per day, though. So yeah, so 30. Okay, because they compile the statistics per year. So 35 per 100,000 is pretty high.
Yeah, but I think we're missing the point on this bit. We're not talking about
sinking in. Tell me what the point is, but it's sinking in.
We normally attribute, or when we're doing statistics, we go death rates. We don't go murder rates. And if the murder rate is roughly 35 to 50 people per day, that's completely different to a death rate of fucking, I don't know, 15 to 20 people a day in, say, United Kingdom. That's completely and utterly completely different. This is compiled as a murder rate, not as a death rate. And that's the most scary thing to me about it. It's 50 people dying and being murdered, massacred, or whatever per day, every day.
And here's another stat for you to raise some eyebrows. So in the year 2016, a total of 50,000 sexual offences were reported to the South African police.
And I'm saying that one and what in 50,000 and how what periods of time?
In a year.
Oh, in a year. Okay, and so that's 50,000 into 50 million. Once again, you're talking about what's that come out to? 1 in 100.
The rape rate has decreased in South Africa from 75 per 100,000 to 71 per 100,000.
Okay.
In the last year.
The 75 per 100,000 is still up there. The funny thing is, hey, look, that's not as bad as Cambridge University because there's 1 in 4 there. I mean,
we know that's not true. We know that's not true, obviously.
Here's another one. So the
Brown University, they got nothing on South Africa right now. South Africa has nothing on them because that's way more than that. I mean, 1 in 4.
So in the Eastern Cape is the province with the highest rape rate.
Yeah, we're gonna
the Eastern Cape's rape rate is at 105 per 100,000.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. This is the point that I wanted to make as well. These are reported. These are not estimations either. These are reported rapes. These are reported sexual assaults. There are so many people that are not going to report this sort of sexual assault, this type of rape, simply because of either being too scared or realizing that possibly, maybe, depending on what your theories are of the government, that they won't do anything to fucking help you. So a lot of people are not actually reporting it.
So about 500 people, if I remember correctly, are victims of assault every day in South Africa.
Yeah.
And in terms of robbery, 53,000 common robberies were recorded last year. And the robbery rate is 98 per 100,000.
Fuck no.
And that does seem high.
That's 150
fucking high.
A day. Yeah, that's 150 people a day get robbed.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that they know about, and I don't want to go all SJW, which I tried to do, and everybody just blew me off and didn't even pay attention to my joke. So, you know what I mean. So I don't want to go there. Those are the statistics, but when you do hear those numbers, they've got to be a wee bit higher.
Yeah,
exactly. Those are the reported ones, which, as we
Yeah,
all know,
if
the
you wanna-
reported is not going to be the same.
Yeah, and I'm
If
not
you
trying
wanna
to be
narrow it
facetious.
down
Maybe,
even
maybe another
further.
0.5% could be added to that.
If you want to narrow it down even further, 61 houses are robbed every day
Fuck.
in South
Jeez, oh,
Africa.
jeez, bloody hell. Wait, no, do you mean breaking and entering or the
Yes,
bloody home invasion?
breaking and
Like,
entering. Yeah, no,
if you were
breaking
saying
and
home
entering.
invasion, that's now breaking and entering is bad, but that's when no one is there. And even though
No,
I
I don't.
understand, I'm saying
I
it's
think this
very bad.
includes. I think this includes when people are there and not. I don't think this
Yeah.
that
Home
discerns
invasion
the
is
difference.
unreal. That's a very here in this where I live, home invasion doesn't happen.
Okay.
That doesn't happen.
I want to ask a question just to see. Let's see who gets the closest. How many cars are hijacked per day in South Africa?
Hijack,
Be conservative.
carjack.
Don't.
Oh, good lord!
Yeah.
What you're talking about? I'm gonna have to say there's got to be 200 carjacks a day.
I'd say more. I'd say around about 300 to 400.
No. I think you're running. Your imagination's running away with you. But it's only 60.
How many?
60.
60 carjacks. Well, yeah. Well, we got to keep in mind there are 50 million people. Some of these numbers are high, but 60 carjacks a day is fucking unreal. I wonder how many. I don't know if it'll just give it to me on Google. I'm going to type in carjack. If I type in how many carjacks a day, it'll try to think I'm asking about black people, so I probably won't answer. Let's see.
No, it's insane. It's surreal almost living in a high crime developing country. The thing is, it depending on where you live in the country also depends on how much exposure you get to crime. Now, living in Cape Town is much different than living in Joburg or living in Durban. So it really depends on, and wherever you live also influences what type of crime you're exposed to.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely a circumstantial or contextual thing.
Are you saying it's on a spectrum?
Despise that word.
I know, that's why I used it.
Now, in the United States of America, there's 104 carjackings per day. There's 38,000 carjackings per year, and there's so that's 104. But that's in a country that is, you have 50 million there. We have 350 million here, so that's 6-7 times the size, somewhere thereabouts. Yeah. These conservatives say 6, so it should be, if you go 6 times 50. That would be 300. So that's 33% of what it should be. This is 33%. So theirs is 66.6%. Oop, that sounds good. It's 666 higher than ours.
Yeah,
and I'm not great at math. I may have flubbed that doing that quickly. I'm sorry if I did. Any of you math nerds out there, kiss my ass. It comes from a psychology nerd. I did my best.
But even just doing the psychology nerd, you just proved the point. The fact that a country that has over 50 or 55 million people in the country,
yes, that's unbelievable.
It's definitely keeping up with some country that has 350 million people, billion, isn't it? Isn't it billion?
Yeah, a million. Yes, it sounds that you're sounding like Al Gore. But here's the thing: when we consider what's going on there and the difference in numbers, we have to, since I am that nerd, ask ourselves why, don't we? Should we ask ourselves why? Even if we can't find the answer as men, we should ask ourselves why. And sorry, ladies, but that is what men do when we sit around the fire. You all decide what color you're going to paint the house and what the drapes are going to be, and we talk about why shit happens. So why, is there a culture going on there, possibly conscious Caracal, that says it's okay to do these things, maybe?
I think in South Africa, the high crime rate is also due to, like I said, we have a very strong phenomenon of violence culturally in South Africa, in all cultures, even in the white culture. And there's a large, for some reason, and people can't really put their finger on it, but South Africans in general, whether they be colored, white, or black, have a very big violence problem. And I do think it's due to, if I just have to theorize, I'd say it's because of our history, about the fact that all the peoples in South Africa have been abused by someone in some extent. Yeah. Look at the Boers in South Africa, for example, who were put in concentration camps by the British.
So, but hang on. So this is a front from you. This is a front from you, because the only person I know that's more thoughtful and reserved and careful about what they say, either if it's verbally or written, is the Britisher.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one that I personally know in this cyber realm. So is this a front? What is it? Why do I see this? And then I look at Adam and his apple. I don't want to go too far, and you don't know him, and you only know you. So what is it? Are you telling me that you are that guy that's there and very thoughtful, and you're reading Faulkner and you writing your memoirs, but then somebody comes in your farm and suddenly you chop them to fucking pieces with your machete, and we don't realize
that's the thing. That's the South African intellectual. They're reading Kant or Nietzsche while they're sitting with their Glock or their AK-47 in the room.
I love that.
Do you think that might not just be from the culture what you're trying to suggest, as in obviously everybody in South Africa being oppressed by one means or another, or do you think it's by political parties that might be stirring up some sort of trouble? I mean, we started.
I'm talking just in general. Why I think South Africans in general are just white, black, and colored South Africans in general are just very violent. We have a large violence.
No, I understand. No, I understand.
I'm trying to theorize the broader picture.
No,
because it is a very interesting topic.
Well, I think that there is more of a focalized point on it. Yeah, you can have people in particular areas and things like that, but if they haven't got if they haven't got a mast or if they haven't got a flag to hide behind or march under, then generally most people generally civilize themselves, or at least pretend to be civilized.
Yeah, I think
whatever word you want to use.
It relates to that psychological theory of abused children become abusers themselves. So I do have this theory as well, where I see apartheid to an extent coming out of that abused folk called the Boers that were put in concentration camps just before that. So I do think it's you can apply that principle on a larger scale to a people, where if the people were abused or oppressed, they then just do the exact same when they get into power.
I understand that, but unfortunately the Boers are not in power, and unfortunately the white people generally in South Africa are not the ones that are attacking the blacks. Unfortunately, generally it's the opposite way round. Most of them are the ones that are doing the home invasions.
They're the product of apartheid again. See, it's the cycle just continuing. They are the product of if you boil it down to on an individual level, they're the child that was abused when they were young. Now they're an adult. Now they're abusing their children.
I understand, but then
it's the cycle that just continues.
The reason why I don't think the theory in itself stands up to a particular reason is simply because, well, if you take it from those 2 points of views, why are certain demographics are now attacking the other demographic when the other demographic is absolutely fine to be able to be left alone until they're attacked, and then they show the violence? Because it's fine being able to show violence when you're defending something, but there's a difference between actually going out and looking for the violence, and that's why there's a difference between the two demographics, and that's the difference that I'm trying to point out.
Yes, and this is rolling around fine. So as you come up with a response to that, we got. I'm going to let this go 8 minutes tops, boys, and then we're going to roll on into the Quinspericy. I surely hope that you stick around as long as you can, Conscious Caracal, afterwards, because I'm sure
I still have a while left. I just want to go to bed at a survivable hour, so I can still hang around for at least 30 minutes.
Okay, cool. Well, so we got 8 minutes, and at least we can have you on the bubble. So if you have a response to that comment that Common Sense just had, that'd be wonderful.
I don't know what is the essence of your question, Common Sense Guy, because you had a very long paragraph there.
No, that's fine. Basically, boiling it down to is obviously you're trying to say that the traumatic experiences between what's made the races the races. Yeah. Basically, what you're saying is that those experiences have changed the way that they would behave. Well, those sort of demographics have had the same sort of problems, but yet one is only being a defensive point of violence when the others is using a offensive type of violence. Though there is still violence in both, and I agree with your premise that yes, one lot is definitely defending themselves violently, but the others are seeming, from my point of view, to be going out and looking for the attack. Now that's definitely a difference in behavior, and the difference in behavior from somebody who's oppressed doesn't necessarily mean that they would go out looking for it. And if both are being oppressed,
I got the question. So my response would be, and I think this is what a lot of South Africans are realizing, is that a lot of foreigners ask me, why aren't the white South Africans defending? Well, why aren't they taking up arms and becoming more militaristic or radical to an extent? And my answer would be that it's still going too well. Things could be a lot worse. We're still making white South Africans are making more money under the new government than they did under apartheid almost. Corporate white South Africans, the CEOs and the heads of companies, they're making a shit ton of money. So at the moment, white South Africans are still living way too comfortably for them to want to really take a stand or to take more drastic measures. And I think only when the shit really hits the fan where you start seeing more cohesion between the white South Africans and them being more vocal about the things that are troubling them. But it's a slow process. For example, last year, or was it this year? No, it was end last year when we had or maybe beginning this year, but it doesn't matter. I have a pretty terrible memory. But so we had this protest protesting farm murders, Black Monday, and this was the first large demonstration of that scale that happened. And a lot of people came out in support of it, and it made international news. And I think that was one of the first symptoms of a white population that's starting to realize that everything isn't sunshine and roses in the Republic.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to...
I would say that this is not...
keep your eyes on South Africa in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be crucial. The 2019 elections are one of the most important elections we've had as a country. And definitely the political environment and political climate is traveling at the speed of light. Every week we have new developments, new implications, new things happening in terms of scandals and just front page news in terms of developments. So I do think within the next 5 years, we're going to see some radical change in the political climate of South Africa. So definitely keep your eyes.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. But that
wasn't what my question was. That wasn't what my question was.
I can boil down my answer to your question that white South Africans aren't really fighting back or being more radical or militaristic because it's still going too good. We're still making too much money. We're not really in that tight of a corner. At the moment, the people suffering are more the working class and lower middle class people that live on farms.
Okay. I understand that. Let me rephrase
areas.
The question then. Let me direct the question a little bit
Last
better
question.
than what Yeah, that's fine. The actual question that I was trying to ask, why do you think that the black people in general, or coloured people, or the people that are actually causing the attacks on farms, for instance, why do you think that they're being coerced or thought? What do you think their thought process is and what the reasoning behind it is? Let me go.
I think it's a product of the dehumanization of whites in South Africa. The idea that white people are framed as the oppressors, of the stealers of land, the great evil. We're blamed for everything that's wrong in the country. So I think it's a form of psychological retribution. They get I think a lot of, and you have to remember this is not a lot of foreigners get this idea that this is the entire black South African populace going completely violent against the minority, and that's not the case. This is still isolated incidents, even though it's an incredibly serious problem, and it's definitely there's a racial and a political element to it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I do think that these individuals that are perpetrating it are being fueled by the anti-white rhetoric that we see just permeating from society in general. The idea that whites are the oppressors, they stole your land, you can take it back and you can kill them, you can rape them, whatever. It's fine. They're not human. They're monsters. So I think they can justify it.
That's the point that I wanted to make.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the point that I wanted to reiterate. The point that I think that the difference in what you're saying is, yes, I do believe that there are forms of the oppression, and I do think that that might have been able to influence the violence levels in that particular area. But I think one is being directed and the other is a reaction. And I think the one that's being directed is being directed by a political ideology.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, it's still the violence that we're seeing. Yeah, the racial violence that we're seeing is still a very small minority in South Africa. It's not. Some people like to exaggerate the phenomenon that it seems like a full-on genocide, which I do not think. I think it's a very liberal way of phrasing it. I think rather it's a troubling issue and a troubling phenomenon within South Africa, but it's not. We're not being rounded up into camps.
No, of course.
So
I
I
don't
still
think anybody
yeah.
would ever suggest that either.
Mm.
I think it's
So it's
more of
not
a
there aren't
Yeah, so,
government forces that are being trained to do this, not to
gentlemen,
my
you both did very
knowledge.
well. Common Sense, you did very well. I could let it go on for a lot longer, but I'm not going to. What I want to do is I'll say thank you so much, Common Sense. You almost read my mind. I meant what I said earlier. I won't say it again. It'll sound like I'm butt licking. But Common Sense, I would like to leave it to you before we shift, because I want you to be here before I lose you to go on to this next the next and final topic of the day, the conspiratorium, if you will, the Quinspiratorium. And
yes.
so put a final cherry on it. Tell us the truth. Tell us from a Boer's perspective, which is going to be very optimistic. Tell us, how is it in South Africa? What can we look forward to in the near future? What can we look forward to in the distant future?
Well, what I can say is keep, like I said earlier, keep a very close eye on the Republic in the next 5 years. Things are changing at the speed of light. We're seeing definitely a phenomenon of disillusionment with the Rainbow Nation. We're seeing factions growing stronger, more tribalistic tendencies coming forth from all sides. And you'll definitely see, but I think it's also it's an offshoot from what's happening globally. It's the idea of politics is becoming more tribal. Politics is becoming more in-group, out-group, blue team versus red team mentality. So I do think South Africa is not an isolated case. We're just one of the symptoms of a changing world, of a world that is definitely becoming more tribalistic, a world that's becoming more entrenched and more of a team. Politics is becoming more of a team sport than a
Ideological.
Than an ideological one. So at the moment is you choose your team, whether that be along racial lines or ideological lines or linguistic lines or cultural lines, and then you fight for that team no matter what. And I do think that's what's happening in South Africa, is that we are just an offshoot of what's happening globally. We're seeing this permeation of tribalism resonating with South African culture. And I do think all the violence that we're seeing now is only it's a product of people that are being disillusioned by what they thought South Africa would be after 1994. And I'm talking about from all sides. So, for example, I think a lot of black South Africans thought that after 1994, all South Africa's problems would be solved. We would see income inequality. We'd see mass development of rural and underdeveloped areas, and we'd see also the lessening of racial tensions. But we've seen quite the opposite. We've seen, and I think it's due to government mismanagement. We've seen the income inequality actually grow, and we've seen a increasingly frustrated working class in South Africa that see their jobs being dwindled, not seeing the economy grow, not seeing new opportunities being presented to them. And at the same time, you're also seeing a white minority that are seeing not the rainbow nation that they thought they would have, where they are seen as fellow South Africans, but they are being framed as invaders, as tourists in their own home country by certain groups. And I do think that's the other side of the coin. So on the one side, you have the black majority that are not getting the results that they thought they were in terms of equality after 1994. They're not seeing the type of development and progress that they would have wanted. But at the same time, you're also seeing on the other side of the coin, you're seeing the white minority not on a cultural level, not being accepted as fellow South Africans. They're being framed as Europeans. For example, I'm called a European, I'm called a settler. I'm not called South African by some people. And I do think it's definitely a product of disillusionment, all this turmoil we're seeing in South Africa right now. All South Africans, for different reasons, are being disillusioned to the fact of the Rainbow Nation, the idea that we're all going to coexist peacefully and we're going to wipe out inequality and we're all just going to be frolicking through the daisies, basically. So we're coming to a very interesting point in South Africa where we're going to have to decide, okay, do we continue as we were and just hope that things get better, or are we going to have to implement radical change? And that's what we're seeing from the ANC rhetoric, is that they're talking about more radical policies. They're basically saying that the policies that we've tried up till now that don't discriminate towards certain groups in South Africa are not working. We're gonna have to make it more radical. For example, an example of this type of policy would be land redistribution, where you redistribute land without compensation, which I think would be a devastating decision. It would make South Africa go the way of Zimbabwe if it's implemented. But that's the type of rhetoric you're seeing right now. So to boil it down, I think what we're seeing is the disillusionment of South Africans with the idealistic view of the Rainbow Nation for different reasons from all sides.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank you so much for showing up today. And again, I hope you stick around just for the beginning. But I'll probably kick this off very shortly. And I just want to say that this will be the theme song for Jensen Quinn's Quinspiratorium. I don't even know. I haven't figured out how we're going to say it. I know a conspiratorium is when a lot of people get together and talk about conspiracies. That's a really cool word. So I just thought conspiracy. I didn't come up with it either. I'm not sure who I first heard say it. Was it Bollox or Quinn?
It was, yes. It was.
Today, my problem, if you will, that I'm having, and listen, we can go all the way back to, we all know who Adam Weishaupt was. We can all talk about Manly P. Hall. We can all talk about Blavatsky. We can all see how smart we are, talk about Albert Pike and morals and dogmas. And, the Rosicrucians started it. And then it went to, and it was burned at the stake. And I remember the number 13. And we can do all these things. It's 1776 and nothing to do with the founding of the United States and blah, 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 blah. We can all pull out our different conspiratorial penises, as it were, and show how gigantic they are. But today we're going to start instead by just a little sneak at the pubic hair of the gigantic conspiratorial penis, if you will. And that is, something's going on YouTube. And all of the other things that we talked about, believe me, Quinn's got some conspiracies that you've never dreamed of. He was just telling me about one. I don't know if he's making it up off the top of his head, if he just thinks it's funny. I don't know. I just know the guy's got a good mind for this stuff. He knows about this stuff, and we will be delving into some of these things. Today, what happened is this, boys. It's in the low bar. Most people know. Mad Dodge Productions went to sleep, I don't know, near a week ago. Had somewhere around 250 subs. Woke up the next day, had near 1,000, had 900, and ticking up. Tick, 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 tick. Watch this tick up, tick up, tick, 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 tick. All the way up to, I believe it was 1,300 subs, something to that effect. A little over 1,100 subs in the period of 24 hours. Now, myself, as a skeptical Jewish person that always sees the goyim at the gate, if you will, I was thinking, something strange is afoot here. And, of course, asked, has your views gone up? And I noticed my brother Bollox and probably comments. I mean, we were all thinking, well, what's going on here? And now, directly after that, after a crash also of some 350 subs, he does a random music stream, and let me be very clear too, because Common Sense maybe even listen to this and be like, well, he did play music, but they did not give him any strikes whatsoever. There was nothing. There's nothing from them in email that says you have a community strike. You have he's put it all up right here. Let me see if I can. I know I can screen share this. I'm just not sure. It looks a little blurry. If you're listening, Mad Dodge, I tried to get him on here. I've sent him a link, but I'm not sure he'll be able to come on with all his children and whatnot. But you can at least see this. It's Mad Dodge copyright status, no problems. Community guidelines, no problems. And yet live streaming disabled. Monetization disabled. Super chat is enabled, because I was saying that his super chat was disabled. No, his super chat's still enabled, but he can't live stream, so it's moot. So this is what the deal is. There's something going on, obviously, with YouTube, but gentlemen, are they creating something? Because something happened, folks. a machine was giving him subs that didn't belong to him. Now he's getting brunt from something he didn't do. In other words, somebody, whoever was maybe those subs supposed to go do some content, who knows who it is? I could only speculate. Maybe they are whatever they were doing to get those kind of subs in that kind of time backfired. But now, because he did get those somehow through machine, algorithm, I'm going to fumble through this because I don't even know the nomenclature. I mean, I'm not even sure what could have happened. So instead of me babbling on, I think I set the plate here. Let's eat.
Well, I mean, just having a look at that picture, it's absolutely amazing that you've got super chat enabled. Obviously, this is not Mad Dodge, so I'm not taking the mickey out of you. It's just the situation in itself, so don't take it that way. But you've got super chat that is enabled on your channel, but live stream that's been fucking revoked. That's ludicrous. I mean, I don't even understand that point. I can't even comprehend that. To the point where obviously you've got, as you quite rightly showed, you've got no community strike, you've got no copyright strikes, you've got absolutely nothing. There's no email, there's no anything to say what you supposedly have done wrong. But yet you've managed to get the subs and everything else of that up to a particular point that YouTube wants. You've got the views up to a particular point that YouTube wants, and yet you're being punished for it. I don't understand that. But you've got the same thing going on in fucking Twitter at the moment. All these right wings and right libertarians and whatever have all been moaning about that. Oh, I've lost 44,000 subscribers in the last day or two. And do you think that could be linked? Because maybe they're using the same, I don't know, same robots. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. Maybe that's what Google's now doing. The fact that they're trying to link everything together. Now, this is a complete and utter conspiracy theory from me, and obviously I'm supposed to be the common sense guy, but I do love a good conspiracy theory, I will tell you that. So, which will be something that we talk about on Friday. But the main point on this bit for me is, how the fuck Super Chat enabled on the YouTube channel and not being able to live stream without any... It's weird to me. It's like a glitch. It's just weird. It's something that's manually been done from, I don't know, a mistake or something that's happened. It just seems that it's a reaction to something.
Nothing happens by mistake.
Exactly.
Well, you can see that's exactly what I said, though, is glitch. Is it a glitch? It's a glitch. I mean, that keeps coming to mind, and that's an overarching. I mean, I remember when Trump said, you know, I'm being wiretapped. They're like, oh, we haven't wiretapped anybody, and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, we're just speaking in the vernacular. You know, we're just dropping the common tongue on you. And so when I look at this, it's a glitch. And I believe what you were saying, common sense. It's something, the computers made some mistake. This algorithm is supposed to search people out and then give them a bunch of subs. It ain't even real. And then the next day, take a bunch back, and then, you know, it did this. It somehow or another, it found Mad Dodge and was like, have a bunch of subs, have a bunch. They weren't real. None of them messaged him. None of them. They were not real. And then the next day, boo, bunch fall off. And think about it. If you got to have a big channel like that, if you have a giant channel like that, you would never know these by name and all. Boom. Next thing you know, gone. That's what's happened to Colin Flattery with Don't Make the Black Kids Angry? He's gone. Is that what's happened to these great YouTubers that were here and now they're gone?
Well, that's another thing that I've noticed very, very recently. I don't know whether it's to do with the fact that it's January and February and it's the beginning of the year or whatnot, but a lot of the old YouTube creators that I used to watch don't seem to even be producing any videos anymore. I don't know whether that's because of all choice, but it seems weird that everybody's decided not to do videos anymore. Like, they've got their own thing. I know people say, oh, yeah, but it's just natural growth. But I don't believe in coincidences, and it's a coincidence that everybody's stopped producing big-tier videos. I don't know, it's just weird to me. Like, Roman Millennial doesn't seem to do that many videos anymore. If she does, it's a live stream, which is not very often either. Blair White doesn't seem to do any videos anymore. If it is, it's a live stream, and I haven't seen anything else like that. And just so many other bigger people like that don't seem to be doing anything anymore. Do they know something we don't?
Maybe it's just because live streams have become more profitable with super chats. So putting all that effort into a video, editing it, cutting it, recording it, and then uploading it, and not getting a fraction of what you get from a live stream, it's demoralizing. People don't see the point.
Very possible.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you. But my point was that even with the live streams, the bigger channels don't seem to be doing it anymore. Don't get me wrong. I know Andy is still doing, Warski's still doing all that sort of stuff. But it just seems that the bigger channels are not even doing the live streams anymore. It just seems that they've stepped away from YouTube for whatever reason.
And yes, I can just answer it this way. Yes, AlphaGo, Colin Flannery's gone. He's only on, whatever the hell it is now. It's not mine. Is it Minds? Whatever the one that didn't shut down. Yeah, VidMe shut down, right? He's on Minds, and some people mirror his stuff, but yeah, he's gone. They shut him down. And for good journalism, too, by the way. I mean, his motto was, we're going to do this without racism, without rancor. And, man, they shut him down anyway. So, yeah. That's what we're up against. I wonder, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. Yes, there's 12 people watching right now. Yes, I plan on making nothing tonight. Conscious Caracal. Some nights we do make a little money. It's been hell to get. I still have not got it yet in 3 months of. But anyway, still, sometimes we make a tiny bit. That's not even what the deal is. What none of us here are here for. As a matter of fact, Mad Dodge Productions here. I don't know how long he'll be here, and you might want to bump off it before you have to leave Conscious Caracal. So I'd just like to let him have the floor and give us whatever rundown, any information, because we've all been speculating. But the horses here will let Mr. Ed take the floor. Mad Dodge Productions. First of all, I'm sorry, brother. I don't want to be a naysayer, but you know it. I said it from the beginning. I even talking to you, I was like, something, who's been telling you? I saw something going on, and I felt that it was going to end up weird, and it now has ended up bad. So what's going
on? Is my mic working okay?
Yeah, it's fine, mate. Go ahead.
Yeah, fine. I did that over 500 sub party thing. And I got a little bit drunk because Super Chat did come in, and I said I'd do 2 shots for every Super Chat. I made like $8. So I did like 8 shots or whatever. So I was pretty drunk, and I decided, why not just play some music and then delete the stream immediately after. I figured no harm, no foul. It got killed about an hour and a half into it. I went and deleted it. There was no copyright strike or nothing. I went to bed. Yesterday I went on there. I decided to see, maybe do a stream real quick because I have a Blu-ray that I was going to give away on my channel. My wife got 2 copies of season 2 of Game of Thrones, so I was going to do a little announcement video to say, I'm going to give this away in the next month or 2. And they wouldn't let me go on at all. So I keep checking. Maybe there is a copyright strike and it just hasn't registered yet. YouTube can be slow. But it's been over 48 hours since that music stream. So if I messed up, I should know about it by now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. YouTube have a very, very good way of sending emails to you and confirming what you have and what you haven't done wrong. Normally by saying you've done a copyright strike or you've done a whatever strike. Then they normally tell you what type of strike you've done. And if they haven't sent you anything, I can't see how you've been striked for anything.
Now they've connected your channel with someone else's, is my opinion, because something's happened. You got all these subs suddenly, then they left suddenly. I think they were fiddling with someone that was probably much larger than you. The algorithm got thrown off. Somehow you got connected to it, and now you're getting something that they're sending this person's stuff, but it's automatically kicked you off, and they're getting the things that say, "Oh, you've got 3 copyrights, or you got 3 community strikes against you, non-existent, undoubtedly." But now you're feeling, and you haven't even gotten the notifications. The machine has messed up. You've gotten drug into the cogs and ground up.
Well, anyway, guys, I just have to let you know that I think I'm gonna head out for the stream. But it was very nice coming on. I'll definitely see you guys again.
Good to see you.
Enjoy the rest of your conspiracy theory discussion. And cheers. I'll let you know what happens on the Dark Continent. Keep in touch.
Thanks so much.
Mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so just carry on, Mad Dodge.
Well, so the subs has leveled off. I'm at like 860 something, and I've been there for days now. So that number is no longer out of control like it was. So once again, I mean, I want YouTube to show me what I did wrong, and that way I can fix it. And if I can't fix it, then at least let me know I need to create a new channel. You know what I mean? If I have to start all over, then fuck it, I have to start all over.
It's weird because you've got so many people. Like you've got oh, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. Suit. I can't remember his bloody name. The Australian guy. His channel's been.
Oh, Suit Yourself. Or...
He's completely gone. He's completely gone now. He's not allowed to do anything whatsoever. He's completely gone. You've got what's the other channels? You got Snarcher Says that is being flagged all the time for whatever reason on his live streams, which I don't really know what the deal is with that one. But you've got so many people that are having so many. Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time,
I shouldn't even said that out loud. That was stupid because he's funny, man. I love Worski and the boys. He's on Worski all the time. And so in other words, I was just being like a snowflake because that's why that's why Common Sense. Because people are fucking butthurt over nothing.
Yep. But that's the thing though. You've got people that are losing their channels and losing their shit like that. But is it from people actually flagging them, or is it from themselves going, well, no, you're associated with this person, so as you're the smaller channel, fuck you? Is it actually by design, or is it by computers going, well, no, you're associated, so we're going to attack you instead?
We have an example here, though, and so I'm going to submit, like I said before, that we have people that are ideologues that are programming algorithms to go out there and cyberly. Now you've got a worm in the machine. You have something flying through the webs. It's just going through the connections and into your computer, looking and listening for what you're saying and key words, key phrases, connecting you with other people, like you said. And I don't believe that there's someone there watching Mad Dodge for sure, because like me, he's only got fucking 11 people watching him anyway, like I do right now. I mean, it's like Hannibal is not at Portis at the moment. And so, I mean, there you go. So no, somebody made an algorithm, made a ghost to set out in the machine, and that ghost is making mistakes. I submit Mad Dodge Productions, who love you, Mad Dodge, but you should be somewhere where you were about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just sitting fine, cruising, and getting your subs at a nice steady tick. But no, something crazy happened. The ghost seen you. You got, who were they? I will ask you, who were the subs you got? Where are they? Where's the new comments? Where do you see in your sub list, or are they all hiding their identity?
That's a really good point, to be fair.
Yeah, and I'm asking, Mad Dodge, do you see in your sub list? Is there, because now you still have 500-600 new ones? Do you see like 500 or 600 new names?
Give me a second, and I'll go to my channel and I'll screen share. I'll let you guys see it. I'm not.
So there are a bunch of new subs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's showing names of like people that you can look down and see that, oh yeah, I never seen those names there before.
Yeah, just a second. Let me pull that up.
I mean, if that's happening, then that's definitely fucking weird. But then at the same time, as Mad Dodge has already said, it's kind of leveled out. So maybe he has got, like, I've noticed on my live feeds or video selections now that you do get a recommended video that comes in quite a lot, or quite recently. Like, if I'm watching something that I personally watch, like I personally watch Football Manager commentary and stuff like that. So every now and again, if I'm watching a different type of video, I'll get a recommended creator that I don't watch that comes up. And I just, maybe that's something that's happened with Mad Dodge. I don't know. It just seems very, very weird.
Could be. Could be. I really think that the ghost got a little crazy. I don't think that there's anything that's happened to him other than the ghost got a little crazy. I don't think there's, because otherwise, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Because correlation doesn't show causation. But I've looked at the channel too, Mad Dodge, and I don't see one extra view that you would be shocked about. In other words, gaining this many new subs, just go by the percentages, you'd assume that, well, the videos, and why did they sub? Well, because of the red eye is the main thing you do. So you look at the red eye. Oh, it's the same people are here tonight, and there's no new numbers. And no new comments, no nothing. Who are these people if they've subbed? You got fucked. The algorithm somehow or another. Oh, here, and I'm sorry, I'm not screen sharing, but he's got this thing to screen share. So these are the new people. It is showing a bunch of new people, is what you're saying, Common. I mean, excuse me, Mad Dodge. His mic's off, but
yeah, it looks like it.
So is it just a bunch of freaking? I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? I really don't even know. I'm not gonna say that all of these things that you see, faces and everything, couldn't just be a figment of Google's imagination. I mean, there's no doubt about it in my mind. It absolutely could be. And if not, who are they? I suggested this to you, Mad Dodge. Pick 5 of them out. I see these names. I'm going to pick about 10. I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to pick at least 10 of them out, and I'm going to message them and say, hey, how did you find Mad Dodge Productions? If I get no response from 10, I will try 10 more. If I get no response from 20, I'll assume that these are all bullshit. They're not. They don't exist. And it's not. Look, and the problem is for Mad Dodge is that it's nothing with ego. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from. You're my favorite stream. It's nothing to do with what you do or anything else. It's just very, very, very fishy. If I woke, and I'm gonna tell you one thing: if I wake up tomorrow and I've got fucking 1,000 extra subs, I'm gonna assume I'm fucked. And Matt Dodge, you're muted if you play. Oh, there you go.
But yeah, I mean, some of them look like bot names. I'll give you that, and I even thought that when I was looking through there. But some of them look like real people, and even if they are bots, I didn't hire anybody to flood my subscription count, so I didn't do anything wrong. Shit. I'm not in the. I'm not.
Nobody's blaming you, mate. You are the only one in this area that's not on the table of who did this shit. You're the only one in my mind that's absolutely innocent. In fact, I would say a victim. You know, at this point.
Definitely. I definitely wouldn't say that you've done anything wrong, Mad Dodger. I wouldn't say that at all, mate.
No.
It just seems weird that so many people just found you all at once. And as Ogre's quite rightly said, okay, so what? There might be actual people that have subbed to you. But is that from their own volition, or is that because Google's made them? Because if they haven't put any extra views or extra comments in there, how the fuck have they found you? Now, don't get me wrong. If you, like I suggested, could have a recommended video, but that one video that's being recommended out there that's got everybody there should have well over 1,000 views then. Because everybody's watched it once and then gone, yeah, he's really good and I like what he does, and then sobbed. Now, I'm not saying you don't have videos over 1,000. I'm not saying that.
Oh, yeah, he does.
But you would notice. You would notice the difference.
Notice it. Yeah. No, carry on. I'm sorry. I was agreeing. I need to mute myself.
No, I was basically done anyway. But it's like, if I had one of my bigger videos that's being recommended out there, for instance, I don't know, say my Ashley fucking Shackleford video got put out there. I know that it's roughly 1.1 thousand, which is fine, whatever. I'm not really bothered about the sub count. But it's the count that I know it's 1.1. If I got an extra 1,000 views and that was a video that was recommended, that would have to go up to 2,001 for me to know that those were definitely views that have come from that video.
Right. In fact, if you got 1,100, you would honestly think that you would have gotten 100,000 views. More than that, man. I've got, when Sargon was here, 20,000 views on that video with Sargon of Akkad, and I got something like 300 subs out of that deal now. But that's what it took. I mean, that's what you see, and I saw it happen. And now, I mean, I've already said, so I'm not going to go into a long diatribe now about how that's a bad thing. And, you know, I've always told you too, Matt Dodge, I was like, don't get a bunch of big fucking blowhards on your channel right now. Build up your base like you are. And we've talked about in the past how it's, I mean, I've got whatever subs I've got, you got whatever subs you've got. And we've always had this almost exact same amount of people watching us. It's nothing. Anyway, it's all about how you build it. And it seems to me that luck of the draw, you know, bad timing, wrong place at wrong time, you've gotten fucked, man. You really have. This is beyond a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact. There are people at Google, at Alphabet, at YouTube, at Twitter, at Facebook that have plan and a direction they want to steer people in, and they're implementing it. That is a conspiracy theory. That is a conspiracy, excuse me. And these are our theories about it.
Yeah,
As
definitely.
you can hear, I can't talk. I will quiet down.
No, but it's like what you just said. It's weird that there's a correlation between all forms and aspects of social media at the moment. You've got people on YouTube that are gaining and losing subs, that are being flagged even though probably nobody's flagging them, getting strikes and things like that, which no proof of any strikes actually happening. You've got people on Twitter that have like 300 and something thousand followers or whatever, that then lost 50,000 or 100,000 and things like that just overnight, just from nothing.
Yep,
And then
Clinton
you've got people
Cox.
on
Yes.
exactly. Then you've got people like on Facebook that have been fucking on there for absolute years and years. And I'm not just talking about somebody who's just trying to make a new account that needs ID, but somebody that's been on there for years that is now being asked to provide picture ID, and they do, and their account still gets shut down. How does that even work? And do you know what the most correlating thing about these people are? They all have slight right-leaning tendencies and want to talk about freedom of speech. That's a very interesting point, isn't it?
Gosh, I'm shocked.
To be fair, I am shocked. I am shocked. Not because I don't think that people are trying to censor people that are talking, but I'm shocked that it's being blatantly done. People are producing the evidence like mad dodges as well, and it's not being taken seriously. And people that are having this done, they're just going, oh, it's just a fluctuation. Like the bigger channels where they lose 50, 60K in a day and they're not bothered, and the next day they get 80 or whatever. It's, to me, that's the case that you need to pick that shit up. You need to tell people that things are happening. Because people like Suit Yourself, Mad Dodge, and things like that are losing their bloody subscriber base. They're losing their fucking chance of being able to speak of videos and everything else like that and getting their opinion out there. And it's just downright censorship. And I can't believe that people are not actually taking the time and consideration to actually put that out there anymore and just going, oh yeah, Twitter's just banned me for a week because I'd said something to a girl with a pussy hat. Or Twitter's just lost me 5,000 subscribers just because I said, oh, Donald Trump's a good guy. Why? Why is that okay? Why is nobody pulling that up? Why is nobody writing stories about it? Because it doesn't fit the actual bloody narrative in the world at the minute. Because the right and people that think like that, they're not victims. They don't classify themselves as victims. And that's the reason why people like us don't actually get anywhere, I think. Because we don't moan about the shit that actually happens to us.
Yeah, well, that's why we're harder to see sometimes.
True.
And it's a squeaky wheel gets the grease. But, you know, the problem is sometimes the squeaky wheel gets replaced. And so I think that's why some of us really try not to squeak too damn much. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. It's just a case of, okay, but there's two different types of squeaks that are going on. You've got the other side wheel, the passenger side wheel that's squeaking, and you've got the driver's side wheel that's squeaking at the minute. But the thing is, the driver's side wheel, the one that's on the right, if you're from the UK, is the one that's getting taken off and replaced, but the one on the left is just absolutely fine. It doesn't matter how much that one squeaks, to use your analogy.
Yeah. Well, you know, and in the end, I don't know what we can do about this. I know folks that, with us that are left here, I am going to shut her down probably right about now. I think that as we progress here, I know one thing. I will be, you know, sharpening my knife a little bit, my conspiracy knife. I'll be, you know, looking back into the, you know, what's been going on with Agenda 21 and the idea. Because I look at this thing with, listen, I'm just going to throw this out here right now. But I look at this thing with Parkland, Florida. False flag, anyone? Do I mean that no one died? No. Do I mean that there wasn't an actual person with a gun shooting people? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that 36 times the cops went to this kid's house. He put on several different places. I want to shoot the school up. I want to be a school shooter when I grow up. They knew about this person. They knew about him. There should have been a flag there at the very least. I'm not saying it should have been able to buy a weapon, because I don't believe that. I mean, the whole idea of we think you're crazy. No, I don't buy that either. But there should have been a red flag. All right. When he bought the weapon, that they should have been like, well, and why? Because of the background checks. To be perfectly honest, in the old days, there shouldn't have been any red flag except for we should red flag this freaking kid, keep a really close eye on him. And now they're excusing the cop that cowered away while they were killing people, and there's got this punk saying, I wouldn't want to look down the barrel of it. No, if you're a cop, you're paid to rush toward the sound of gunfire and to stop it with your life. I think about the Bobby that gave his life at Parliament. He didn't even have a weapon. There's a guy with a knife there. He didn't even have a weapon. He rushed up there with a club, man, and ended up dying. But that's because, and why? Because he's your standard British man that knows he has a duty to do. And at that time, in his mind, his life is secondary. Not to me. Yeah. Not to me. To him, it was at that time. That is the quintessential hero. So, folks, let's get ready to wrap this up. I'm just so glad that we're going to start down the idea of conspiracies. And even though we started with the mild one tonight, that was the whole idea. Wednesday will be at Bollox's, and I'm sure it might go a little deeper. I know that Quinn will be, I believe, the one in charge that night of getting the conspiracy together, what we're going to be talking about. So I would suggest you come with your tinfoil cap all ready to put on. So what do you say, boys? You too, Quinn. Don't buck out on me. But we got Mad Dodge here. He's definitely low man on the totem pole. You ain't getting out of it, Mad Dodge. We're going to give our last words. We go Mad Dodge, Jensen Quinn, Common Senseguy, and then myself, if no one else has anything to say before we start.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, I think my final word will just be moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and create the Red Eye stream, and I'm going to use Mad Dodge Productions to put real videos on since I have a good editor now. So I will be moving forward, and today's Red Eye might be over on 40's channel or wait till Wednesday after I create this new channel. But I am going to move forward. They can't stop me from speaking my mind. Fuck them. Thank you for having me on.
Well said.
I agree, mate.
Cheers.
Fortunately, Ogre, mine is a very short one, and it's nice and simple. The truth is out there, somewhere. Did you check behind the sofa? Might be down back. Just have a look.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Quinn, for this idea. Cheers, man.
Yeah. I was just about to second that. As Ogre's quite rightly said, we're going to do a conspiracy theory thing on my channel on Friday. The thing is, though, we were going to do it on the Wednesday on Magic Bollox' channel. But unfortunately with Magic Bollox, is we don't know when or if he's going to do the thing on the Wednesday. Now, that has nothing to do with the fact that he may not be able to do anything or whatever. It's a case of he's got personal stuff, and that's fine. Personal stuff has to come first. This is a hobby. So, and as he has fucking amazing ideas, we're nicking it, we're running with it, and we're going to take it. So, yeah, come on our channel on Friday. We're going to have the conspiracy thing there for a while. I think I'm going to do that for Friday, and then I'm going to leave it up to Ogre to what he wants to do for the rest of the conspiracy theory ideas. I just wanted to put it out there as a big major thing, because I do find conspiracy theories very, very interesting in general. I don't find all of them correct. I don't find all of them real, but that's just like life. You have to look at the information that's put in front of you, and you have to decide for yourself. Now, if other people want to disagree with you, fair enough. That's up to them, and that's just like life, and that's just like politics. Everybody's going to be looking for their truth and their version of truth. And that includes me, and that includes Ogre, that includes Jensen Quinn, that includes Conscious Caracal and Sargon of Akkad, and whoever else you want to put into that aspect. We all look for the aspects of truth that we want to have. Yes, that does mean that we do have an element of biasness, but it's how much we choose to follow that biasness that makes us a partisan, that makes us be able to realize that we have different issues and we have to work together. But that's just my little opinion, and I just can't wait for Friday now, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's my little final word.
Well, man, I sure appreciate it, boys. I'm going to try not to be too long-winded here. I'm actually looking for something I could pop up. There it is right there. And pop up for y'all to look at real quick while I say a thing or two. Folks, if someone wants you to believe that a problem is so difficult that you can't solve it on your own, there's a very good chance that they're trying to sell you something. Well, Mr. Ogre, what on earth are they trying to sell me? With gun control, the idea of giving up my AR-15 and 30-round magazines, they're trying to sell you politics. Politicians need you to need them. They want you to want them. We're not talking about cheap trick, but it is a cheap trick. It's a cheap trick they pull on you, folks. It's a bait and switch. You should not be able to defend yourself. We will defend you. And then the cop that's supposed to defend the children cowers. Why? I'm saying because he's probably told. I don't know. Cops usually do what they're told. So they had to wait for 4 minutes for a SWAT team. Boy, 4 minutes is a long time to let somebody roam around school with a AR-15. I know that if I would have been the cop there, that I would have rushed toward the sound of gunfire, that I would have known that school so well that I would have heard where they were coming from. Schools are all mazes like we've all been in them. Concrete walls, block walls. I would have found my way around the back, and I would have shot hell out of this kid. Wouldn't have been no trial, wouldn't have been all this time and money because I'd have killed the hell out of him. Or I would have died. No great loss, one human being in this great big world if I would have died. But a great gain if I would have fulfilled my duty. We hear quite often about how noble the police officer is. Well, where? What police officer? I've seen truly noble acts from police officers out of England. I've been looking into it in the last week. And I've noticed that these bobbies that run around, they don't even have us. They don't have a bloody firearm at all. They have a club, they have some mace, some rare occasions a bobby will have a taser. Usually they don't have one of those. And yet they go out there and they see somebody breaking into a building, they rush up. They see somebody doing some foolishness in Parliament, they rush in. And am I saying that they shouldn't have a firearm? No, I think these people should have firearms. I think everybody should if they want one around the world, because God did not create men equal, but Samuel Colt did. That's the great thing that we always say. That's the thing that we remember. That's the mnemonic that we use to remind us that there's a reason people have firearms. It's not just to plink, plink, plink and to kill a deer, but it's to protect ourselves and our loved ones. And that the willowy, nerdy lawyer traveling with his family can be just as tough as the marauding highwayman and his band of ruffians if he does have Mr. Colt with him on his side. There's nothing wrong with that. A gun never killed anyone. Let's not forget okay, there's some rare occasions where fell down and fired, and there is occasions where no one pulled the trigger. But can we not come together as rational human beings and grown-up adults and say that never happens in the vernacular? That in the common speak that you could say it never happens, meaning so rarely that it's not worth mentioning. Though as I wrap it up here, folks, I want to leave you with a look at these two folks. When a madman was shooting up a church, this guy underneath the word hero, no, I don't remember their names. I'm not good with names. I should probably put their names somewhere. I should have looked at it before this, right? But I don't remember their names. I'm so sorry. It's good that I don't remember the asshole that shot up the church either. But this man here underneath this hero, he ran barefooted toward the sound of guns. He was not a police officer. He was an individual with an AR-15 in his own home. This guy right here with the neck tattoo and the daggone, I mean, doesn't he just look like Billy the Kid, man? I mean, he looks like somebody to rob you in poker and then shoot you if you said wrong. But this guy, that's why we don't judge people. This guy was driving his truck and stopped by this hero. And he invited him into his truck to chase this madman down to make sure that the bullets he put in him from cover did the job. So listen, the next time somebody tells you that guns in the hands of a good man could not stop an evil man, I suggest that you tell them 2 words. Fuck you. And you know what? You know what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter about any of this shit, right? Doesn't matter if you agree with me. Doesn't matter if you paid attention. Doesn't matter if this whole thing flies by. It does matter that you remember the conspiracy theory will be on, Quinspericy will be on Friday, not Wednesday. That does matter. But none of the other stuff matters. The only thing that really matters, folks, so you remember this. Be good to your friends. Be good to your family members. Be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge, you'll never be able to forget about it. Because, constant viewers, my beloved panel members, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and all the water in South Africa will depart from you. Hey, where's the